Got it. Let's see here. Oh yeah. What happened, quick? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Let me tag you. Everybody come on in. Shayla, you see me on there?
We're cute.
What about Dr. Joe? He don't get nothing. He just there, huh?
He's handsome. He's there. We're all looking good. Welcome to my party.
I'm just gonna be fun, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. I'm gonna tag y'all. Let's get this party started. This is gonna be fun. It's not gonna be, childhood trauma. We ain't getting that. We ain't getting that deep today. We're gonna have some fun. We ain't getting that. All right. If you guys can make sure that you guys share and like. This content is for the people. Y'all know y'all need it. Share and like. This content is for the people. I hear an echo, Shay.
I just turned, it was my phone because I'm sharing.
Okay, so it's you. Boom. Hi. I think I got everything together. Dr. Joe, you see us? We up in the building.
Cool. What are you drinking, Dr. Joe? I'm the only one still drinking coffee. What's happening here?
Yeah, no, this conversation is for the fun. I don't know what you're doing. this ain't that.
It's
okay,
whiskey.
I got you.
It's a little whiskey. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We on here. I will monitor the comments. So as you guys know, I will be looking at my phone, looking at here. Let me make sure I don't miss the questions. If y'all can check too here and there if you want to. If not, I'll be looking and seeing. So welcome everybody. My name, of course, is Erika Genice. This is Dating. It's Levels to This. I have a Dr. Joe Johnson. He is very familiar to this platform. We did a conversation about a month or so ago. So welcome back. He's an international speaker. He's a coach. He's an author. He's all well-rounded awesome. We have Shayla Locklear, and I'm going to mess all of this up. But what she is, okay? This is what she says she is. She told me that she's a high-performance coach for high net worth and ultra high net worth entrepreneurs, executives, and a business and market consultant. Oh,
perfect. You got it right. It was good. It was good.
So basically, she's a lady boss. Okay, so it's nothing but bosses on this line. Thank you guys for joining me. This is going to be very fun, very light. I'm going to try to keep it at an hour. I do not want to hold up your Sunday. So let's just get straight into it. Dating is levels to this. Dr. Joe came to Dallas and we were talking about dating, and I didn't even know what the first question should be. And he was like, just start by asking what dating is. So there we have it. So I'm going to throw it to the lady. Shayla, what is dating?
So dating to me, and where I think a lot of people go left on this, is like, it's really just getting to know somebody. A lot of people consider dating, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, later, but a lot of people consider dating like exclusivity, dating a relationship, and that's not true. Dating is simply just getting to know somebody.
Okay. Dr. Joe, what is dating?
You know, it's interesting. I never really thought about what's the definition of dating is. I guess depending on who you talk to, you'll get a different definition. So I'm like, you know what, let me just Google this definition. I wonder what the world says.
Yeah.
the definition is. So let me just read this real quick. It just says, is a stage of romantic relationships where two people meet socially with the aim of each assessing the other's suitability as a prospective partner in a future intimate relationship. You know, so I guess that's probably one of the traditional definitions, but in reality, it's just getting to know somebody. Plain and simple. To me, that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you catch a vibe? Do you have a connection? It's getting to know somebody.
Yeah. So my next question was going to be, what's the purpose of dating? But I think we all can kind of agree to get to know somebody. I would say to either rule them in or rule them out. Would you guys think the same?
Yeah, I think with dating, it is what I feel happens is there's this level of not only expectation, but emotional attachment that people put into dating at this specific level that messes them up completely. Because when you're getting to know somebody, you don't really have a clue if, when, where, why they are actually compatible to you, and if they're going to earn the spot of exclusivity in your life. So I think that, the whole purpose is very much to get to know each other, very much to see if there's some sort of compatibility beyond just the initial thing. We talk about character and ethics and all of those things, because we can all feel like that initial, we can all feel compatible, right? Where it's like, oh, you like this, I like this, but that doesn't equal a relationship. And I think that's where a lot of people get it mixed up. It's like, oh, he's nice, he's great, we think about the same things, we like the same things. I'm like, that means nothing. That's awesome. You guys can enjoy time together, yeah. But does that actually mean that you're meant to be together? Does that actually mean that you're actually valuable in my life? Does that actually mean that you have the characteristics, the morals, the ethics, the values that are going to provide for me in my life?
Yeah, 100%. Agree, Dr. Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this conversation can go so many different ways.
Yeah.
Because this word dating, at least from my experience, is it's packaged in this very traditional, this is how you date type of dialogue usually, right? And the reality is, a lot of folks are talking about, intentionality and being authentic. The reality of dating is some people date for specific reasons. Right. Some people, let me give you a great example. I saw somebody on social media, I'm just looking for somebody that can pay my bills and blah, 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 blah. If you clear and honest with somebody about that, and that's what they're willing to do, sugar daddy, sugar mama, whatever it may be, we can't get mad because they put it out there. But dating intentionally doesn't always mean you are going to be with me for the rest of my life. We're going to get married and we're going to live happily ever after. Dating doesn't mean that the way in which we've been taught. So we got to always be mindful of whoever is dating, why are they dating and what are their intentions?
Yeah. I love that. So what percentage of people who date show up as their representative and not necessarily their authentic selves?
100%. So,
not 50, not 70,
112%. There's no, your representative always shows up. My representative shows up, and I know this stuff. She looks good. She says all the right things. She knows how to do it. It's just human nature. We're going to show you the best of ourselves initially, because it's not that it's not us, but that's also our safe zone. Your representative is your safe zone. Your personality, whatever you decide to show, is your safe zone. So initially, you're most likely not going to tell them that, oh, hey, by the way, I'm cute and everything else, and I'm exactly what you say, but I also have a lot of childhood trauma, and in my sleep I cry. You're not going to do that initially. So it's 100%. And if you say it's not, or if you think it's not, you're lying to yourself, because you know that you put on your best foot forward in initial dates or initial conversations. It's just human nature. So understanding that and knowing that you know the surface level of that individual, and the purpose of dating is to actually get to know those other personalities, that level below, because that's who you're marrying. This can show up at any time, but that doesn't mean that it's like right. That doesn't mean that it's valuable. That doesn't mean that like you actually know me. If you know me, you know that, yep, I can show up for the cameras, I can show up for you, I can show up for whoever as Shayla, right? But when you get to know the other side of me, you may be like, she's actually boring. Like, she does regular stuff. Oh, she's not on all the time. Oh, she cries at like cat videos. Oh, like that's annoying to me. So I think, so I think we have to take this personality, this level, it's that person, but with a grain of salt, because who you're going to fall in love with is all the other stuff that comes after that.
Yeah. Well, she says 100%. You know what I mean? She ain't even giving nobody no room to. What do you think, Dr. Joe?
No,
what percentage of people are showing up with their representatives?
You know, it's hard to go against that, because I as she was talking, I'm like, damn. I started thinking about, if we're looking for a new job and we go to the interview, what do? We put on our best selves, right? Dating is an interview in a sense, right? And so we put on our best selves. Like you said, like it'd be strange if I meet somebody and they're like, man, I cry in my sleep. You like, oh, red flag. Uh-oh, what's going on, right? So you want to put your best self forward, but in reality is your best self isn't always your authentic self, right? So that question that you ask is very important. And a lot of us show up with, I guess, in a sense, this representative representing, I would argue, potential and some of the best parts of us, but that's not how we always are. And so then we fall into all this craziness. Well, when we first got together, it was like this, and now it's like this. Well, I didn't give you everything at the beginning, right? And to be honest, should we give everything at the beginning? Should we tell people, we were in prison for 5 years and we just got out? Should we tell people, right? I fight if you do this to me, right? Like, what should we do? That's the question. I keep asking myself.
No, that's actually a really good question. And Shayla, when you were saying that, I have to agree with you 100%. So when I was thinking about representative, I was just thinking not going in like necessarily fake, right? Like, this is really who I am. But the reality of it is you don't really show up as that. It's too in depth. It's just too much. Like, you just cannot show up without your representative. And I'm glad that Dr. Joe said that, as far as, a job interview, we saying we proficient in Excel. You get the job, you can't do Excel. Listen, we telling
I'm Googling it, like, hold on, let me figure this out. I'm
Googling how to do this. I mean, it's true. And so you do try to put your best foot forward. But to Dr. Joe's point, I think you just have to show up how you can show up, right? And I don't want to give you all of me at first, but I also don't want to appear fake. And so I don't even know what the lines between that would be.
Well, let me just say this real quick, because you had me thinking. I'm like, then again, some of us show up as our best selves at that time of our lives and in that moment, right? Like, that's the best that we can be, right? And so what does showing up as our best selves or authentic, what does that mean? I have an idea of what that means, but I'm thinking, like, some people, all they have is who they are and what they can do at that moment, and that's all they can give. So it's interesting.
But I think the other thing about that is, as far as, like, we talked about authenticity and like showing up, there's a level that you may admit it or you may not admit it, but it doesn't really matter. So what I believe is the fact that, like, when you're doing any type of dating, when you're doing any type of interviewing, right, there's a level of insecurity that you have that makes you believe, guess what? I need to show up as like this, as
top notch.
this big individual, right? Because otherwise I won't be enough. Otherwise I won't get the job. Otherwise they won't like me. So there's always that level of insecurity, no matter how secure and how confident you are in yourself. With this new individual, you're like, I don't know if they're gonna like me. Let me make sure I turn this up. On the other side of that is the fact that we need to learn how to date in a way that these are humans. So I think sometimes, like when we're men and women, especially women meeting men, you know, and we're going on dates and everything else, you're looking for them immediately and you're judging them immediately to check off all of these boxes to be like, okay, he's this, he's this, he's this, he's this, he's this. He is, you know, instead of meeting him as a human first. And I think that we need to like meet each other as people first, rather than like, yes, the intention of like, hey, I want a husband or I want a wife and everything else. Absolutely. Yes, date with intention, but also understand that these are humans. So you need to meet at the level of like human authenticity rather than he's my next husband, he's my next baby daddy, that's pressure. Yeah. And you don't even know if A, he's worthy of that, or B, like you guys even like each other like that, but you put them in these molds and you make them check off the boxes before they even like freaking got in the box in the first place. You're not even seeing him as a human.
Yeah. Oh, that, you know what, that just made me think too, like going into dating, you may not be like romantically compatible. What if this person can really turn out to just be a great friend? He may be a business partner. He or she can be a good business partner or whatever. So I don't know if we should go into dating like that, but it just made me think like when you're ruling a person out, you could be ruling out a potential friend as well. When you guys were dating, or, you know, I know Dr. Joe, you are married, Shayla, I don't know what you got going on. What
so much.
when you consider dating a person, what are you looking for individually? Like, what are y'all looking for?
Well, when I was out here, I think the number one thing was I'm attracted to go-getters. Right? Don't talk a good game and then you doing something totally opposite, right? I for me, yes, I love when I was younger, I loved the physical presence of a woman, right? Yeah. As I got older, I think I've been able to see the beauty that is outside of the physical, right? Now, that does not mean, right? Like I got to be able to look at you. Let me be real, right? Like, don't nobody want to booger wolf, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think that the reality is, because a lot of people talk about, oh my goodness, I love I'm like, yo, but is there a connection there? So for me, it was connection. It was, are you a person of your word? Are you a go-getter, right? Are you that individual that you know how to fall back and step forward? Like for example, sometimes like because of what I do, I'm in the forefront. Yeah. So sometimes you got to fall back. But then there are times where my partner, she's in the forefront and I fall back. I'm back. I'm taking pictures. I'm boom, boom, boom. Like I'm back there like I'm staff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with that, right? But do you know how to step forward and fall back? So those are a couple of things that I look for.
That's it. What about you, Shay?
You know, I would say like when I was younger, granted I don't age, I was very particular about looks, right? Like I had a very like specific look that I wanted. And because I thought it brought some sort of clout or some sort of like, it just made it work for me. Like, I didn't really care how like great you were. I was like, it was what you looked like. And then after going through.
Wait. Can we hear what that look was?
No, so I mean, it's actually like it hasn't.
That's your
really,
type, sis.
Right. It hasn't really changed. Let's just be honest about that. But I just am aware more of the characteristics. Yeah.
We want to know.
I'm somebody who likes someone who's athletically fit. I'm somebody who likes somebody who's typically taller than me. And a tall, very like fitness is very important to me. As far as like if there's racially, I dated the rainbow. So that doesn't really matter as far as race or ethnicity. It's more so like you're into looking good, you're into feeling good. I mean, it's easier to say like, you know, ball players in a sense like that, because I dated a lot of them, but it was more so like, as I've grown, it's been more men who are very business minded, but also very fitness minded. So that's very important to me. Health and wellness is very, very important to me. And business is also very important to me because that is what I do. And it's hard for you as a man to understand my drive and what I do if you don't have some sort of business mindset. Because if you have an employee mindset, it's also like, it's going to be very interesting, the conversations that we have and the type of work ethic that I do have. So that type of guy is something, you know, that I like. But in growing, yes, that's still very important. But I've also understood that, like, here's the thing, and here's the truth. I can't remember who told me this or where I learned this from, but women, we are valued for our youth. We are valued for our beauty. We are valued for all these things. We can be so much more than that, but honestly, that's the truth. Men tend to get sexier as they get older because they mature. They tend to like, you know, they like get in their zone. So like, as we grow older, it's very different, right? And I know we don't want to say this, but the truth is, not to say that women, like, as we get older as women, sometimes it's looked at we're less valuable. As men get older, they're more valuable, right? So understanding that, but it's also also understanding that, like, as far as individuals and things that I value, it's like family, someone who understands family, who's very like family oriented or will be family oriented, someone who is spiritual, right? It doesn't have to be like, we don't have to agree on everything, but someone who's spiritual, someone who can inspire me and I'm inspiring to him, someone who can grow me and I can grow him. I've been in several relationships where, and this was to my own, you know, after looking back, it was my own choice, but where I was the boss in my relationship and I was the boss at my own business, and it just didn't work out. And it's really challenging for me to be the best thing in the relationship. I'm the looks, I'm the money, I'm the one who's helping both of us, and I'm not inspired by you at all. Like, what do you do? So it was, I'm like,
so you had some suckers. You had some suckers.
Tell him, hey, Dr. Joe, tell him, just put a name on it. You had great.
I'm like, you're like, initially you were awesome, but you're so in awe by me, but I'm not inspired by you. I'm not learning anything from you. I'm not growing from you, but everything you're taking and, well, not taking because I gave it, but everything you're learning from me, dude, you're getting 100% better. And I'm like stagnant over here because you give nothing. I'm not inspired. You've done nothing for me. And congratulations on me upgrading your life. Like, you're welcome, but I want to feel that way too.
Well, let me throw this in there real quick, Erika, because
okay, absolutely.
You know, what you just made me think about is, number one, I've had conversations with men who are intimidated by women who are about that life. And when I say about that life, they're business oriented, right? They're just about creating the life that they want and desire, right? And, you know, I've heard some men say things like, no, my woman can't make more money than me. I'm like, yo, you sound like a clown. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say, like, you make a point. But what I will add to that is, even some of the research, I believe, is saying a lot more women are becoming entrepreneurs and doing their thing right now. What they don't talk about, are they becoming successful entrepreneurs? Anybody can start a business, but are they becoming successful? Not just women, just anybody. But women are doing a lot. And so I think men in some way may be extremely intimidated by the fact that there's this idea. And I think Destiny's Child did it when they started making music. Will you pay my bills? I'm a man, blah, 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 blah. Right. But it's interesting because to me, it's dope if your woman's making more than you. That should light your fire, right? It should make you want to do something to catch up or keep up. But just what you said, some men are very intimidated by a woman like you.
And so,
Yeah,
so
don't, it's
wait,
literally been my whole
I got a
life.
question. Hold on, Shay.
That's
I'm gonna lose my train of thought.
right.
Does men actually tell you that, Dr. Joe? Because they will, of course, would never tell us that. We'll get the backhand of it, right? And it comes out in different ways. So they actually say out loud the fact that my woman makes more than me, or she's a little bit more successful. That kind of bothers me a little bit. They will actually say that to other men.
Yeah, I've had that conversation before. Or it's like, I'm not dating a woman that's making more than me. Or no, that's not happening. That's foolish.
Yeah.
There's two ways to think about this though, because that has been the story of my entire life. And so I get really tired of that excuse of like, you're really intimidating. And I'm like, me literally breathing intimidates you? I'm so sorry, but not really. So there's two ways to think about that in my world. And what I believe some women who have experienced the same things that I experienced, where people are very much intimidated by you. And it's also like, to speak for those women, it is so annoying because you're telling me who I'm being and who I am naturally is too much for you. That's an issue. So there's two ways. As far as men understand, and one things that I said, like, I'm not saying it still matters, but as far as the money part, like I've always made more than the people that I've dated. And a lot of it was like, honestly, my own insecurity. So I used to control with money. I'm like, I make the money, you can't tell me what to do. Now, that's why we've had a lot of other interesting conversations and relationships that I've learned from. And I used to be intimidated by men who made more than me because I'm like, oh, they're going to try to control me like I controlled them. So we've learned, we've healed, we've worked through that and understanding that it's not about that. But it was very much a truth of mine. But as far as money goes, I will tell you, like, if you are in a relationship, not dating, but in a relationship with an individual and someone's making more than the other, everything else, like it doesn't really matter because especially with most women, what's mine is yours. So that doesn't matter. It's more so like what I see man as and what I look for with a man is to protect, to provide, to build, and to grow with, right? So in that regard, even if I'm making more, right? Can you protect? Can you provide? And providing doesn't always mean money. It's emotional support.
Right,
It is maybe I'm horrible with money and you're great with it. So I can make it, honey. Don't worry about that. Can you make it grow for us? Like there's so many different options that can come here and people are worried about the dollar amount that you make. On the other side of that, there are women who need to understand what role you want to play, because I believe that in our current society, they've made this really high level, like independent woman type thing. And I'm fine with it because I'm an independent woman, but people take it so far left and you wonder why no man wants to be with you. Well, I'm not going to fight for any type of attention. I'm not going to fight to be the leader. If you're going to allow me to lead, let me lead. But if you want to lead, go ahead and understand that you're going to probably need a man that is more of a, I don't want to say alpha and beta because those are words that we use all the time, but someone, yes, a more of a beta male who is like chill with that.
Yeah.
There's different type of men. Like that's the other thing we have to understand. If you want to be the boss in every single thing, then you're going to need a man who understands how to take the back seat. But if you want someone who is a quote unquote alpha male, which we can talk about too, because a lot of alpha males are actually boys who are sad. And anyway, but they're not really alpha. They're acting out what they think is alpha. And then, you know, that's toxic masculinity. But anyway, if you actually want an alpha male, then know that he's not going to butt heads. He's not going to go alpha to alpha, honey. So you're going to have to learn how to maybe in your job, be that alpha woman and then be able to take the back seat at home. I know for me, that's what I want. Like, I don't want to have to come home and deal with all of this other stuff. I'm fine with being the boss bitch at work and chilling at home and taking a back seat in a sense like that. Like you have to understand what type of woman you are. You have to understand what type of man you desire. And you have to look at how that all works together. But the independent woman type of thing, you want somebody to fight for you. You want somebody to this, you want somebody to that. You're telling men, I can do without you. Well, bitch, you're going to be without them.
As she sip her black coffee. Okay. So, okay, let's talk about deal breakers. And I understand that all of these questions are crazy subjective, but for the sake of conversation, what would be some deal breakers that we should be looking out for in the dating stage? I'm gonna send it to you, Dr. Joe. What's some of these deal breakers?
Hygiene.
Wait,
Let me be real. Let me be real.
this is for real?
No, this is for real. Deal breakers is hygiene. It's like if you don't floss, right? Something ain't right. Like you're not in tune. That means something else might be off as well, right? If because some people, like, let me be real. Some people have a scent to them, which is an interesting scent. And that don't mean they don't do whatever. It just means it could be the food they eat. It could be, but this hygiene is important to me, right? If you're walking around musty and you 25, 30 years old, 40, something ain't right? So hygiene is very important. Another thing is I don't hang around, and I don't like to be around people who complain, right? Don't talk about being broke.
Yeah.
Don't talk about don't talk about people all the time. Don't complain about life, right? I don't hang around those I don't want that energy around me at all.
Yeah.
Right. And so, that's very important.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say is, individuals who don't know the power of healing, growth, and development, right? Like, if you still doing the same thing that you was doing when we met 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I have an issue with that. That means you don't know what it means to evolve, to educate yourself, to be higher, right? And so I don't want the burden of having to be the person to do that. Obviously, I'm not. Like, I've been with my wife for 10 years, but I'm just saying those are some deal breakers for me.
Those are great deal breakers. One would have never said hygiene. However, absolutely.
Yeah, if you fine, but your breath stink, I got an issue with that.
It's over. And listen, you'll never talk to me again. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that halitosis, that tosis.
trying to talk to me. Get out of here. I ain't even listening to you. I'm trying to figure out when this bill finna come. I'm out. What you got? Let me get three deal breakers, Shayla. Initial date, not someone you're necessarily dating, but you're thinking about dating. What does that look like for you? Give me 3 deal breakers off top.
Somebody who is, I like to say who's uncultured. I just really can't deal with that because I'm around a lot of individuals. I am around a lot of different cultures. I travel around the world. I'm, with people of different, especially like high net worth, ultra high net worth. I need you to have some culture about your life and be open to new and experiencing new things. So someone who's very much like that. Another deal breaker would be somebody who's a homebody. Like, I love to be at home, but I also need to go. So I want somebody who's able to create around the world with me. And then if all you want to do is stay at home and watch Netflix, I'm over it.
Netflix coming out with some bomb series show.
I mean, it is, but we can watch that on the plane. Let's go. Another thing is somebody who is not family oriented. Here's the thing. I have 3 children. So the other thing, when I bring someone into my world, I'm bringing somebody into their world as well. And if you can't deal with kids, you're not going to deal with me.
Point blank. Yeah, I agree.
Like that, straight like that.
Right. In that. So everyone wants to date, right? The people who aren't in relationships, we have a lot of single friends, and everybody wants to get on the market, and I'm ready for somebody, right? But I feel like some people are missing some tools, okay, to really, truly make a really healthy decision relationally, right? So let's talk about some skills that you need, some relationship skills that you need in order to have a successful relationship. What type of skills are we looking at?
A relationship or dating?
I would say relationship, because dating, you're really trying to make that into a relationship. But you need some skills prior to that, right? Like you just don't get into a relationship and you don't have particular skills.
Yeah, but
So-
see, there's a misconception, and I want to make sure that we are very clear.
Yeah.
Like everybody doesn't operate from, I want to be in this relationship, get married, and that's not everybody's like foundation, right? Everybody doesn't come from, the Bible says you need to be equally yoked and blah blah blah, right? Like everybody doesn't operate from that, so we have to be very careful on why people are dating, right? Some people are dating maybe for connection, but they don't want to get married, right? But they desire companionship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be very careful on the way in which our language, steers towards the absolute. And the absolute is not everybody wants to get married. You know what I mean? And so when I ask like relationship or dating, and a relationship can be part of dating, right? You're building a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Well, I just want to be very clear, like when it comes to this topic, people get mad because everybody don't operate from the Eurocentric Christian mindset of this is how you do it. I say Eurocentric because if you understand history of Christianity specifically, there's a very Eurocentric view, right? And I don't want to go, that's a whole other conversation. But what I'm saying is when you talk about people and humans and what we desire, I mean, we can go to, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all that fun stuff, but the reality is everybody's not dating to get married.
Yeah.
I think some of the tools, jumping from that and understanding exactly what you're saying, but I think some of the overarching tools in any type of connection piece, relationship, situationship, actually, I hate that word, so we're not going to use that. But
you said situationship?
Annoying thing. It's complicated. What do you mean? Like, it's literally not. You're making it so much more complicated.
We're too old for complications. I cannot, don't say nothing about
okay, if you're in
entanglement.
Your 20s, no, if you're in your 20s,
no, Dr. Joe, please don't piss me off on Sunday now. I've been real Christian-like today now. You're gonna really take me to a place. All those words are cop-outs. Okay, sorry, Shayla. Woo.
No, seriously, it is because it's like, in your 20s, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you till about 27 to allow situationships, or it's complicated on your Instagram feed, your Facebook or TikTok. I'm going to allow that until about 27. After that, it's completely, I can't even talk to you. That's ridiculous.
That's a deal breaker.
It is, because what is it or what isn't it? Like, let's just be honest. No. Anyway. Overarching tools that I think would benefit anybody, because there are relationships look different to everybody. And either it's the, like Dr. Joe said, the Christian Eurocentric, or you dabble in polygamy, or you dabble in whatever else is available. Like, okay, in general, what I think needs to happen is like tools that you need to utilize. You have to have some sort of emotional intelligence. There's so many people like around here who either aren't in tune with their emotions, who don't even understand it, who don't get like even themselves. And then you try to get into a relationship or even just dating, and you're just an unhealed individual going around trying to find some solace in somebody else, like they're going to solve your problems. And then you both are just sitting there like messed up as ever. And you think that's a connection. No, it's a trauma bond. Okay. Like that's how that works. So cool. Let's not do that. Another thing I think is you have to understand, like, kind of to what Dr. Joe said, what are you looking for? And what is it that you actually desire? And being able to stand on your word. Because if I'm looking for a guy, if my intention at the end of the day is to be married, but this dude is like, yo, I'm looking for 4 wives. And I'm like, oh, no problem. I can change him eventually. No, like he already told you what the deal was. Why are you trying to go back? And this is what people get into relationships and they're like, well, I didn't know. I'm like, no, honey, he told you. You didn't want to believe that.
Yep.
You wanted to say that you were the special bitch who could change his whole world. Nobody's that special. It doesn't happen because people change when they want to.
Right.
And so you kind of go in with these expectations that like things are going to change and they never do. And then you're sitting there having some sort of resentment towards this individual and they didn't do anything except for be themselves. You were the one who had the misconception. So you have to be strong in what you want and also know that God is not an asshole and will be able to give it to you if you stop settling for other things.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't hurt no feelings. Come on now.
No, it's hurt
Don't hurt
feelings
no
every day. Yeah. Listen, hey, they went to church and was like, I feel good. Right? They went to brunch, they had mimosas, and then they jumped on here. You smoked the whole day. You smoke. I'm gonna read a couple questions.
No, hold on.
Oh.
Quick. No, before you go to them questions, because
go ahead.
It's very important. Like we're talking about skills, right? It's very important for us to have a level of curiosity of new individuals that we come across, right? And obviously you don't want to go in like it's 20, 30 questions and you just question them like it's an interview, right? But you want to have a level of curiosity. And I think one, that seems to be cool and cute. Why do I know that? Because I think that's something I'm trying to implement in my relationship, and I've been in it for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
The other thing though is we're not, I believe from my experience that we have not been programmed to have hard conversations. Right? Therefore, when something comes up that is hard to talk about, i.e. sex, i.e. children, i.e. religion, i.e. politics, when things come up, or more importantly, when you set a standard of where you are, but then you evolve and now your standard is different, right? Yeah. That's a hard conversation to have. We're not trained to have that conversation. So if we work on having hard and honest conversations, because a lot of times we just don't want to hurt anybody's feeling, or we don't want to look like the bad person. I don't want to say bad guy, because we may have some women, bad woman, bad guy, whatever you want to say. But it's important for us to have the skill of having the conversation that can help us evolve together, because sometimes the conversation is not going to run anybody off. It's going to bring them closer to you to say thank you. Because man, most people wouldn't even say that to me. And so it's important for us to be able to have those hard conversations.
That's good. I think Shayla and I were talking not too long ago about having hard conversations early on, right? And like you said, not necessarily an interrogation. And I wonder if people aren't having those conversations because this may rule this person out and now I'm back on the scene, right? Versus I have somebody who's sending me messages here and there. I'm having conversations. I'm going on these little fake dates. I got some people to entertain me, right? And then you look up, you're in a situationship because you didn't you didn't ask the right questions. You didn't have those really tough conversations. That's a good point, Dr. Joe. Thank you for that.
Or we ignore them when somebody did that.
Oh, wait. Or we what?
Or we ignore them when somebody, like you said, Shayla, when somebody actually tells you, and you think you could do something, create the person that you're trying to create. It don't work like that.
Yeah. We so often want to be Captain Save a Hoe, and you don't need to be. Like, there's no reason for what? Like, if he tells you or if she tells you the truth about herself, what do they say? Believe them. It's okay. And so I think so many times we desire so much connection that we, like you said, we miss these red flags, or we ignore the things that people are telling you because you think it's cute, because you think it doesn't matter, because you lower your standards now because you're like, it's okay. No, that's fine. It's okay. He doesn't. Okay, but that's a core value for you. Yeah. And now, once again, situationships. And the other thing is, we jump into exclusive relationships without even seeing these people sweat. How do you know how he deals or she deals with hard conversations? Yeah. How do you know how this person deals with unfortunate situations? How do you know? And you're claiming exclusivity on a person you don't even know how they deal with a problem? Are you serious? You're setting yourself up to fail. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? And if they can't answer these questions for you, thank you for the $300 dinner. I appreciate it. I'm going to go. Like, no big deal. You're just not for me and I'm not for you. Because if we can't have a conversation now, what do you think is going to happen if we're actually in a relationship and something serious happens and you're just going to flight off or be like, I can't answer this right now, or I can't talk about it because I have some sort of emotional tie to it that dealt with my childhood and my mom didn't love me? Like, not my problem. We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. A $300. Well, first off, hopefully.
Where y'all going?
Listen, I heard something on social media that had me cracking up. All right. The guy said, he told the woman, you need to give me 150 before we go on this date. That way, if it don't work out and I spent all this money, at least I got a little insurance. I was cracking up. Now, because a lot of times the men are paying, right? If you're in a heterosexual relationship, the men are paying, right? Straight relationship, man, woman, the men are paying. I want to be very clear with that because we have people who have same-sex loving, do what you do, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, men are often paying, and it's kind of like if it don't work out, you just like, well, I got the $300 dinner. Like, dang, can I get a $300 dinner?
No.
If you find the type of woman who goes half and half, no big deal. There's plenty of them, but some don't. So the other thing is about paying these, like, okay, we talk about who pays and everything else. That's to me, I'm like, yeah, a dude will pay, no big deal. I'm not really worried about it because it's at the level of which I would treat myself. Like, that's the difference. See, this is where I have an issue with this because there's a lot of women who come in and you guys have like, basically like, you want a black card, but honey, you have a capital one. Like, you know. So that's not fair for you to require a dude who has that and you're not working towards something better. Yeah. You want a Bentley, you want this, you want that, but your clothes are from Fashion Nova. Like, honey, no. That's not how this works. So when we talk about like, if you want to date those type of men, so this is the other thing, let's be honest. This is why I took a break on dating because I saw some things about myself that I wanted to better. And I know that the type of individual that I want in my life is going to require me to be more. So I'm becoming more, so I'm comfortable requiring that from another individual. That's the issue, is you require less or you require more from somebody else and less from yourself. And you think they're supposed to be cashing out on you. You think they're supposed to be, loyal to you. You think all of this stuff, eventually he's going to figure it out that you're not shit. And so he's going to treat you like that.
It's interesting because, and as y'all know, me and Shayla's my cousin and we talk, literally my best friend, we talk all the time. And one thing that we typically do not do is go out on dates that we don't want to go out on. And you see a lot of women, I don't know about men, Dr. Joe, you can maybe speak on that, but women, they'll go out for meals and for drinks and knowing you're not interested, you're wasting this time. And like you said, now the bill, $300, and it's just weird to me at this point. Get your money up to where you're not really going out with somebody just for a meal. You and your girls can go and spend $300 like it's nothing. I'm going out with you to actually have an interest in you as a person. Do men go out on dates just because they bored?
I'll be very honest with you. In my experience, I do know men who they may not be necessarily attracted, or they know there's nothing long term, or right. However, it may be, oh, but she got some money though, right? Or it may be like, oh, but she thick though, right? Or it may like. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things that men do, and I'm not saying all men. Some of the men that I've been around in my life, and now as we got older, I don't, it's not like that now. But I think this is some things that people gotta look out for, right?
Yeah,
and this
is
just the reality. And so, yes, but I still don't think it's necessarily equivalent to, like, I don't want to say equivalent, but like a lot of times the woman's gonna get the free meal. Have men got free meals? Absolutely, like from thirsty individuals. But the other part is, like you all said, get your money up, right? Do what you need to do, so you're not going after something just because, right? Nobody wants a just because date.
Yeah. And men can feel that energy anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna call it a JBD, a just because day.
Wait, hold on. Is that really a coin?
No, I just made that up.
You just make it up right now.
Listen.
JBD, just because.
Look,
Sounds good.
somebody put that in the comments. That's a whole new hashtag. Give us credit
Just
for the
because, Dave, just because.
Such a waste of time. Okay, so we're gonna talk about things that turn men off and things that turn women off during the dating stage. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all. So for Dr. Joe, so according to Matt Boggs, he's a famous blogger, which I didn't even know what a blogger is, but it's a person who makes short videos and posts them. Right? Got it? Cool. For people who didn't know, like me, there you go. There are 6 things that turn men off during the dating phase. And now, Dr. Joe, I need to know if you agree or disagree. I'm gonna read off the 6, okay? Women playing games, being too aloof, treating him like he's perfect, the attitude of entitlement, emasculating behavior, instant relationship demand. Those are 6 things.
Those are good.
Oh, Dr. Boggs.
Hey. Those are good. Those are good. Read them one more time.
Okay. So playing games, being too aloof, treating him like he's perfect, the attitude of entitlement, emasculating behavior, instant relationship demand.
Yeah, so those are good though, right?
Good.
Number one, I've always shared with people, you don't want yes people around you. So I know you don't want no yes woman or yes partner.
Yeah.
Right. You also don't want anybody to make you feel less than. You know what I'm saying? Like either way, like that's just extremely disrespectful, and the relationship ain't going nowhere. And if you like that, like you shared earlier, Shayla, there may be some trauma bondage there, right? There may be that, those individuals, because you have some folks who, if the relationship isn't chaotic, they don't want it because that's what they're used to and they think that's normal, and that's not real.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let me just stop there because I think those are pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Those are pretty good.
I got a couple things. Entitlement. BG said entitlement definitely is one. Instant relationship demands were the fastest way for me to walk out. So this is for the guy. Ooh, we know we'd be putting pressure, y'all.
Say that again. Hold on. Say that one more time so people in the back can hear.
We be putting a little pressure sometimes. A little bit. Sometimes, y'all. Okay.
And let me just say this. Men, a lot of times, and I'm speaking specifically like, cisgender heterosexual men, oftentimes don't share how much pressure they feel from women. We don't.
Is that part of the tough conversations that need to be had?
Yes, and it's part of us as men growing up, not learning how to share our emotions and share how we feel and talk about what's going on inside of us. Yeah,
that's good. Okay, Shay. According to Erika Genice, there are 6 things that turn women off. Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. From you? Oh man.
She says she is the
listen, this is according to Erika Genice. If Mr. Balls can say something, I can too.
Go ahead, let me hear it. I'm looking forward to this.
Inconsistent communication. Actions not matching words.
Yeah.
Lack of financial stability.
Yes.
Lack of goals or ambition.
Yeah.
Not being initiative. And the last one, this is the one that always get me. So tell me, Shayla, if you agree. Hiding that they're in a full-blown relationship or married.
I mean,
but that turns women off, Dr. Joe. That turns women off now.
Yeah. No, I think a lot, like I agree with every single one of them. And I think going back to what we were talking about is like there's different strokes for different folks. And listen, a full-blown relationship and marriage, some women are like, cool, as long as I know, I'll do that, but give me the opportunity, right? Like, don't hide this. Give me the opportunity to decide. So there's something for everybody. And that's why I'm like, we don't have to really settle. You just have to be open with what you're looking for and what you desire. Hey, buddy. So I think another thing that, according to like what Dr. Joe was saying in regards to the pressure on men, and then kind of talking about what women, what we don't want or what turns us off. The other thing is on both of those accords is men feel pressure. Women have this sort of entitlement. And so it equals like this whole craziness. And what I mean by entitlement is this: when you said like relationship goals or relationship, you're saying relationship off bat. So you're looking for relationship type actions when I'm just getting to know this person. And so the men feel, like you said, all of this pressure because it's like, we went on 2 dates and you're like, how come you didn't call me at 4 o'clock yesterday? And I'm like, dude, am I your man? Like, what are you talking about? And so I think women also, to be very fair, we have to understand that like where we are, once again, dating versus relationship and what that looks like. Yeah. Another thing that women do, and I know I'm so hard on women, but I'm like like me being a woman, me also, I was a high-end matchmaker. I've seen this 100 times, and me also being the scapegoat and the try it all for women because I've done everything. Is like, if women don't understand the power that we wield, we lose it. And men really are created to make us happy. But the thing is, we don't allow that. The thing is, we make it so difficult. And like, if you look at Mother Nature, right? Look at lions. Men have manes, the lionesses do not. You know why? Because they're trying to get our attention. Look at peacocks. Peacocks, the male peacocks are beautiful. They have this amazing foliage and women look like shit, but it's all because they want the women to like be attracted to them. Everything a man does is to make a woman happy. And if you allow him to do it, he will let you. I mean, he'll do it, but we don't. We expect so much. We don't fully engage into the dating process. We're like, dude, you should know exactly what I like. And if you don't, you're out. And I'm like, are you not part of this whole dating process? Yeah. Because I want to be happy. And so I can easily tell you, hey, I want to go out at this time. I was looking at this amazing restaurant. I think it would be great for us to go. And we should probably do this afterwards. Do you know how quickly he would get a reservation for you? He'll be like, oh, yes, just to make you happy. But we make it so hard because we're like, he should know. He's a mind reader to figure it out. And I'm like, that doesn't make you more of a man, or that doesn't make him more into you. That just makes him more stressed and makes it harder for him to want to be with you because he thinks his whole relationship is going to be stressed and he just wants you to be happy. So I think a lot of things that we get to look at besides the turnoffs are also our own personal responsibilities in relationships and in dating, and making it easier on each other, because at the end of the day, most people do want relationships. Most people do want to be together in some capacity, but we make it so hard and almost impossible because we have these rules, or we have these societal thought processes about what men are supposed to do and what women are supposed to do. And it just causes us more like to drift more away. So this is not on topic, but I felt that it was important for all.
No, listen.
That's good. That's good though.
It is. BG said men will move heaven and earth for the woman that he wants. Sorry. It's true. It's so true. So does that mean if he doesn't move heaven and earth, then she's probably not it?
No, because sometimes you're still trying to figure out if this is the individual that you want to rock with, right? So nobody's going to, hopefully you're not starting off initially. Now you might move heaven or earth to get that first date. And then when you get that first date, then you're like, I don't know yet. I thought it was going to be something. Then it might fall back, but then you're like, all right, I like them. Then you might move heaven and earth again, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay, so just got a couple more questions. It's been a little bit past time, quick, because I had a lot of people in my DMs that wanted me to ask this question about this concept of dating down. They feel like women and men too are taking less than really kind of what they want in order to, why are you smiling, Dr. Jenna? In order to say, I'm with Bae. Is dating down really a thing?
100%.
DJ? First of all, why she so absolute? Listen, she not giving
100%.
nothing. Everything is 100. Dating down is a thing?
100%. Almost every single guy I dated was a down. So it was, and initially, it's not that you always know that, right? Sometimes you're like, once again, the representative shows up and that other individual, and you're like, oh no, they're good. And then you realize no. Just kidding. That wasn't it. But dating down, I think sometimes really, like, if you catch it, right? It's more so just showing you your value and your worth. And some people don't want to admit how awesome they are, how amazing they are. And they don't want to stand on their own, like, they don't want to make anybody feel bad, or they don't want to feel like, hey, I'm requiring this level because I understand who I am, right? People are so afraid to stand out and own their awesomeness that they're like, well, it's okay, or it's fine. No, here's the thing. Dating down is never going to make you happy, no matter what. You're always going to wonder who, what, when, and where could be more. You're always going to look at yourself as the issue. So a lot of what happens with dating down is because of the insecurities in yourself. I know for me, going back over relationships and looking at men and things like that, because, like I said, I could control with money, because I was like, I had this personality, I am this person, whatever. The other thing is dating up, if you want to call it, or dating at your level or higher, is going to require a different level of you, because you can't bullshit. When you date down, you can easily bullshit. It doesn't matter. It's like, cool, you're not anybody anyway, so I'm not trying to worry about you. I can do whatever I want. When you date at your level or higher, they're going to call you out on that shit. You can't do it. So it's really a safety zone when you date down.
Yeah. Dr. Joe, do men date down? Do they date down, Dr. Joe?
Dating down is an interesting phrase for me, because the question that comes to mind for me is, what part of them or what you need is down, right? So are you dating down because spiritually they're not where you are? Are you dating down because financially they're not where you are? Are you dating down because they don't look like this person that you desire? Like what? Like I start to go through that, right? Or just the overall package is just not what you desire. And so, one of the questions that I would ask individuals to consider is your need or your desire higher than where you are? Right? That's the question. Because a lot of us, we want somebody who, they making 6-7 figures and they got this and they have that, and you ain't nowhere near that, right? Similar to what you were saying earlier, Shayla, right? Like it's like I personally believe that you date wherever you date to see what it is that you want. Once you figure out what it is that you want, then you ask yourself, am I there? Right? Once you get there, then you start dating again at that level. Are you even ready for that?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Chandra says, don't dim your light. And I think this was to you, Shay. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable. Don't date down, make them rise to your standards. BG said, absolutely. Dating down happens when you give what you want for what you want right now. When you give what you want for what you want right now.
I understand what she's saying. Yeah.
Okay. So
but is that, and then also the question is it wrong? For example, let me give you an example. If you knew, like, in this time of my life, I don't want anybody, because we talking about dating, nobody brought up intimacy, physicalness, like that is very interesting, right? Like, who jumping off on the first date? You know what I'm saying? But like, all I'm saying is it's interesting that we forget that sometimes people date down intentionally. If think people date down. People do that intentionally because they have this need that they want to get met, or they just want to hang with somebody, or so they're like, I'm gonna get what I can get, or hang with whoever I can hang with and keep it moving.
Yeah, I almost think that's what BG was kind of saying. Wow.
Okay. But that happens a lot, honestly, the whole dating down type of thing. I think it's very interesting. And like you said, there's choices that we all get to make. But one area that I see it a lot is like, and we actually not only normalize it, we celebrate it, right? So especially in hip hop and rap culture, a lot of these dudes that are rappers and hip hopper, that sounds so horrible. Sorry, hip
Not the
hoppers.
hip hoppers.
I'm sorry. Clearly, I'm not in their crew, but
hey, hip hoppers.
Right, hip hoppers. My mom, like, what is happening right now?
You
like rappers and all these people, right? Let's be honest, if you go back and look at their history, a lot of them, once again, are boys who were never that dude. And guess what? They got their money up. So now they have choices that they didn't have before. And so now they're like, let me get all these women. But they don't get women like me. What they get is women who are going for the money and that can be controlled by that. So therefore, they're like, someone like me could come in, they're like, oh, no, that's too much. Because they know that what I'm going to do is call you to be more. What I'm going to do is not deal with the bullshit. What I'm going to do is take the money you give me and invest in several other opportunities so that when you leave my ass for the next 4 girls that are already there, I actually came up, and it's not about a Birkin bag. But most men like that are very much like choosing specific women who will work with that, who just want to go on IG and show their ass, who just want to get their body done and think that's an actual come up. So once again, there's levels and different types of individuals, and men like that, no, men understand what type of women they're getting into. Don't get it twisted and make everybody feel like, oh, we don't know. Men know exactly how to pick out the ones that are going to do what they want to do. Like it's very key. You know what type of woman she is, or even women, like what type of man he is. You're kind of like, don't let people fool you. And he surprised me. I didn't know, girl. No, stop. Yeah. You knew, and so did he, and that's why it would work for whatever it worked for. And then you may have elevated. You may have wanted more. Like you see in the industry, all these women are like, I want to be your only girl. I want to be your only woman. I'm like, honey, he was never like that when you came in. Like he had 4 other chicks. You were the 5th. What do you think that he's going to actually now wife you? And then if he actually does wife you, he's going to be like real to you? Where does that happen?
Fantasy.
So, Shayla, are you telling me so you would date an individual like that? Because you said you would take their money and invest it. Is that what you're saying?
Listen, we all have levels of where we are. Like you said, guess what? I may not
make it plain, Dr. Joe. What's she saying, Dr. Joe? Is that what she's saying? Is that what you heard?
I may not want anything serious. I may want to be one of the 5, and I don't feel like working too hard. And I know that you give me an allowance of 20, 30 grand a month to look cute. Awesome. I will make sure I make myself look cute, and I will also take that invest into what other business that I want to, some high rises, some other stuff, so that once again, when you're like, dude, I'm done with you because I have number 7 on the way, I'm like, cool. It was no big issue because I was never emotionally into you anyway. I did it for the money. We worked actually together. It was a great relationship because it wasn't. We knew what it was for, and I'm just not stupid. Most women will leave these relationships with nothing but a Birkin bag that you have to pawn now because you don't have shit. If you're gonna do that, then do it right.
What you got to do for that $20,000 or $30,000 allowance?
Look cute.
That's it?
No.
I mean, that's what we're gonna say right now. We know the understory of all of that. Look cute.
Yeah, look cute and some.
Look, Erika, like, yeah.
I ain't even gonna touch that right now.
We're not gonna
leave that one untouched. Okay. Okay.
Speaking of touched, no, I'm just kidding.
But it is that part. What are y'all thoughts on dating apps? And I only ask this because I hear a lot of women who are not women and men, both women and men are on dating apps. But it doesn't seem to be as successful as I think that maybe they thought it would be. Is that a great place to start if you're having some trouble maybe in your city? Thoughts on dating apps, Dr. Joe?
I feel like times change and evolve. I haven't been on any of these dating apps, right?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, I'm gonna keep it real because I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I used to, hey, Black Planet back in the day. Woo,
What it
Black Planet.
do?
Man, Black Planet. Somebody hit. Hey, I went to go. Quick story.
Yeah,
I went
no,
to go. I went to go speak in Maryland a couple months ago, and the people that brought me in, I knew one of the individuals that brought me in. They said, "Hey, this lady said she used to talk to you on Black Planet back in the day." I said, "What?"
Hey, girl.
I was like, "Dang." But
BP, what's
BP,
BP.
but that was hilarious to me. But no, I've met people who, they've gotten married off of dating apps. I think you just gotta. Some people, we're at a time where everybody's trying different things, and that's okay. You figure out if you like it, cool. If you don't, stop doing it. So for me, it is whatever works for you, works for you. I'm not against anything.
Not against it. Okay. Shayma.
Yeah. As someone who's an avid on dating apps when I'm active, and in person, I think a lot of things have to come to like exactly how you present yourself, what you're looking for, how open you are to the process. So I think sometimes people think that because you're on an app, that shortens your process. And that's not true. Like it makes you available to more people around the world than maybe you would have been if just going outside. But that doesn't mean that like there's not the process. Right? You have to vet people. You have to get to know people. You have to take them off the app and start talking to them. You have to it's a process. And I think the issue with dating or the expectation of dating and the expectation of dating apps is that people think like, oh, just because I'm on an app, cool, it's going to happen or this or that or whatever else. And I'm like, no, it helps you, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to go through your process. You have to go through the process no matter what you do, no matter if you go out in the street corner and find somebody or you use an app. I like apps. Like I've complained about them, but also like I like apps because it connects me with people around the world that maybe I don't have I wouldn't have necessarily been able to be connected to. But it also lets me know more of what I don't want, and also more of what I do want. And if you use it, it's like anything. You gotta play the game. People don't want to play the game of dating. They want an immediate relationship, and that doesn't ever work. Like, what are you talking about? You have to play the game. It's just like anything else. Now, don't spend 19 hours on a day on apps, and also don't be a cheap ass. If you want better options, pay. Like I'm paying for some of them, and I get really great individuals, but I've also gotten great individuals on free opportunities as well. I've had really great experiences on apps. I've had some weird experiences, like a guy from Greece who's like in the military supposedly and does black ops. Things happen, okay? Just be smart about it. Be smart about it, but also don't go into it like, oh, I hate this. Put some effort into your profile, put some effort into these individuals. If you're going to do the app, play the game. Don't expect people just to come to you, and know that, yes, there's still going to be that weird, nerdy guy who comes at you with a cat video and you're like, who are you? It's fine. It's okay. Don't be ashamed of it and don't be sad about it. There's people who went to my high school who've swiped left or right on me. And I'm like, never did I talk to you in high school. Do you think I would talk to you now? Not happening. But you have to be willing to play the game. So apps for me are great, and paid apps are even better. So invest in yourself. If you're gonna unless you just are DTF and that's all you're looking for in these apps, then invest in the process, invest in yourself. This is your life. This is your dating life. This is your potential relationship. And you think you're gonna get that shit for free? Doesn't happen.
Yeah. So no matter.
Do people know what DTF is?
Because
we all want different things. Didn't we talk about this? We all want different things.
No, we're not going to skate past. What is DTF? I don't know what that is.
Down to
what? Down
to F word.
Oh, that's on. Hold on. Time out. That's what they be saying on these apps.
Yeah. Oh, they'll tell you. Most people are like,
well, listen, I mean, here's the thing.
You got to be honest.
Be honest.
There's
I
couples
mean-
on apps who are like, we're looking for one woman or man who wants to like join us. Be honest.
Yeah, just say what you want. My God. Wow. Wow. I
Yeah,
would be so offended. Like, are you DTF? What is it? D what?
DTF, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, the guy who's bored and he's willing to go out on dates, you know why? Because he expects something later.
Okay. Well, guys, this was a great conversation. I knew it was gonna be super, super fun. Anything y'all want to leave with the people, Shay? Any closing remarks about people's dating process and any closing y'all have? If not, I understand, but
So as much as like a lot of people say like dating is horrible, I don't like dating, this and that, or wherever else, I think at the end of the day, what you need to do or what will be highly beneficial for you is to like, if you're committed to this, if you want to get into the game and invest in yourself and know that this is like something that enhances your life. And sometimes you do have to kiss a few frogs and that's okay. Also understanding that dating is not a relationship. And don't have those expectations, as well as also learn to be open to and fill your roster. Stop dating one dude at a time. God didn't give us multiples for us to go one by one. We don't have time for that
100%.
at all. Because dating is getting to know. If you waste your time one person at a time, dude, that's gonna take the rest of your life and you're gonna be 97 before you find your man. So don't do that.
Look, I found him. 97.
Right.
Girl.
Date multiple dudes, and dating multiple dudes does not mean that you're in a relationship. It does not mean that they've actually gotten on the roster, honey. They're not in the game. You're just talking to them. Then you create your like roster of dudes who actually are somebody you would consider for a possible relationship. And you talk to them. And then you get to choose out of amazing men, one which you will be able to move forward and give exclusivity, which is a benefit. Don't automatically give anybody exclusivity. Like that's not, they've never earned it. And also don't give exclusivity in regards to your emotions, because you think this one dude is like, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna hope he's gonna choose me. And you're emotionally attached to this one dude who may not ever end up being your man. So when we talk about levels, there's levels to it, and be open to playing the game and understanding who you are inside of that, instead of looking at yourself as like this, sad sack of like woman or man who can't get what they want. No, play the game, open it up, be excited, be invested in your life, and understand that dating there's levels and there is a process, and there's no exclusivity until you decide on a relationship and that person has earned it.
Yeah. Dr. Joe, closing remarks?
Hey, I like that. I would just add, while you're dating, date yourself as well. Right?
So good.
Know yourself, connect with yourself, date a therapist. And what I mean by that is make sure you have a therapist so that they're right for you, to help you deal with some of this stuff, because a lot of the stuff that's going to go into a relationship has to do with you, right? The other part that I would say is understand that the world isn't what grandma and granddaddy taught us, what the pastor taught, right? Like the world is changing now. People move differently. People operate differently, right? You can't be trying to operate in 2022 off a IBM computer system processor, right? No, we don't even have IBM no more, right? So make sure you upgrade your level of thinking, upgrade your level of understanding, upgrade your level also of just grace and how you deal with people. And just know that it's not always as hard as we make it, but do know that I believe, right, that God only gives you what you're ready for, right? And so if you're not prepared for the type of relationship that you desire, you won't get it. You won't, right? So just make sure that you're honoring, you're respecting where you are, but you're honoring where you're going, right? And what that means is you got to do the work on yourself in order for this dating world, relationship, whatever you want to call it, in order for it to be what it is that you desire. And let me be very clear. Just because you all start off here and you're on the same page, remember, everybody evolves. Some people might evolve faster. Some people might evolve this way, and be okay with maybe you're only together for a season, right?
Yeah,
Okay
that's
with
good.
that. But just know that everybody evolves. Respect that. And sometimes you're able to get it together. Me and my partner, we've been kind of beefing the last couple of weeks. We've been together 10 years. Like, it's been kind of distant. But
Yeah.
what happened? We good. We get through it. But at the end of the day, we have
Yeah.
real conversations, hard conversations, but we still working. I don't know everything. So that's my 2 cents. Always remember your purpose and your profit. And I'm going to add your relationship. All of that is directly connected to your individual healing. I'm Dr. Joe Johnson. Follow me at Joe Johnson Speaks. Go to www.workwithdrjoe.com.
And I will be dropping all that in the link. Thank you both so much. I appreciated the different perspectives. I think this was absolutely amazing. The people needed to hear it. And we got to definitely link up and do this again. This was fun.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Good night, Shay.